Guys, UFC 290 is upon us, and my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers, bet $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and the method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy, and DraftKings is offering huge UFC contests this weekend with massive cash prizes up for grabs. Click on the link below. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys, do it right now. Use the promo code Sonnen, and all new customers who bet just $5 on any wager are going to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Sonnen only at DraftKings. My official prediction, Du Plessis versus Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker, of course. Of course I think he's going to win. So do all of you. It's a massive spread in the odds. There's nothing about this match that is overly compelling. I'm not looking to be a jerk about it. I'm really confused what we're doing. I'm genuinely wondering why are we doing this? You have the clearest number one contender in the sport. That used to be Colby Covington, but Colby is now, we're told, is going to be fighting with Leon. So I'm taking Colby off the board. The clearest number one contender that you have is Robert Whittaker. And he's going to take on Du Plessis, who I believe is ranked number 6. And Du Plessis is a total stud, but there's a story going on here that's bigger than the X's and O's between these two. Du Plessis, I don't know that Du Plessis is all that much younger than Whittaker. He just feels it. I haven't actually looked at that on paper, like a tail of the tape situation. I just know Du Plessis feels like he's the younger. He feels like he's the next wave. But the much bigger story here, okay, International Fight Week is believed to be the biggest and most important card of the year. At least in theory, that's so. Supporting that theory is the fact that UFC 200 fell on International Fight Week. I mean, just by example, things are done to really build this up, and these two are in a real feature match. That if you listen to any headlines out there, is a number one contenders match. Nobody in a position of authority has said that. I just feel like I constantly need to remind you of that. But on December 10th of last year, okay, there was a card. And it was at T-Mobile. And it was to be Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira. The worst drawing rematch of all time. That's why I remember the date. They did everything they could to avoid having to do that rematch, but here we were. Bo Nickel was on that card. And Du Plessis was on that card. And Bo Nickel had TV time, known as main card. And Du Plessis did not. And Bo Nickel was very hot then. His name was everywhere. The media was really pumping behind him very well. And Du Plessis had 334 Twitter followers. He had almost no support. And Du Plessis did a better job than anybody on the card that night of building and self-promoting his own match. And Du Plessis took Bo on straight on. He took on all the decision makers behind Bo. He took them straight on. He said, we are in the same weight class. Here's what I have done and here's what I have accomplished in this organization at this weight class. This young man is debuting. If you have any question about this young man and me, just put us together. I will fight him that night. And Du Plessis wanted the spot. And I just remember this. And I had to search it. I heard this was going on. I heard about this young man, and I heard he was getting vocal, and I heard he felt that he was not given his placement. So I went and found him, and that's why I know he had 334 followers. I looked it up. It's the reason that his message wasn't getting out there and it wasn't resonating. He just didn't have the followers back then. But guys, it's very important. This was December 10th. This is an undercard guy at Du Plessis. December 10th, this is an undercard guy that would have lived and stayed and died on the undercard. That's where his career would have gone. But he had different ideas and he wasn't afraid to speak up. Now, here we are a very short 7 months later. And he is being discussed to be next in the main event of a pay-per-view for the World Championship. And there's different ways to do your career, but that really is the story of this fight. Du Plessis, who was supposed to fight on December 10th. I don't know who that opponent was supposed to be. Can't recall. But it was an undercard fight. He will now be locked in there with the former world champion, who is a future Hall of Famer, and he's one win away from possibly being the top draw in the marquee. And it's a very interesting change. And one thing that is consistent at the Ultimate Fighting Championship is it's a place for guys who want to fight. And there's not very many times when you get to find out who that is. There's a lot of guys that will say the right things at the right times when they're asked, and they'll bang their chest, but there's not a whole lot of times where they actually get put in a position where you get to distinguish between who's looking for cuts in line at their local strip club and who a true badass is. There's just not a lot of times. And Du Plessis was put to one of those tests, and he passed it. And I haven't been to his Twitter today, but I'm very confident it's not 334 anymore. And I'm very confident that he's not going to jerk to an undercard. And when I look at his skills versus Robert Whittaker's, I see a gap. I don't see a good match being made here. If you're looking for back and forth, if you're looking for tit for tat, if you're looking to shine somebody up, which is part of the narrative, and many believe that that is what's happening here with Du Plessis. He has to get that right win so we can move him into a world title fight. This isn't the one. I don't know what these two are fighting for. I don't know what these two guys are fighting about. I've never heard from Whittaker what he wants to fight Du Plessis for. I've never heard him say anything even remotely close to interesting as far as why they're doing this. And then the same thing goes with Du Plessis. Du Plessis done a good job. He's building the fight. He's building the tension. He's building his own brand. Why he is fighting Robert Whittaker, I don't know. If you ask me who's going to win, I mean, this is one the odds makers have right. It's a fine fight. Go ahead and make it. Rinse and repeat. I'll move on with my day. If you think you're going to find a number one contender from this fight, you found the wrong match.